All right, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this regular scheduled meeting to order. Start with the invocation. Commissioner Hollis,
Everyone bow your heads, please. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the blessings you have gave us. We thank you for the blessings that you are going to give us. Lord, we ask you to come into this room so we can make the decisions that is best for this county. Lord, continue to bless our county. Continue to bless the families that are grieving at this moment, Lord. Lord, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Powell, you lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. If everybody's had a chance to review the minutes for the June 5th regular meeting, I will entertain a motion to have those minutes approved.
If everyone has read, I make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
I've got I think something needs to be added. I didn't get a chance to read the minutes till last night, but when we were talking about that Mr. Hampton, it was stated that there was no signed contract, that there was no fee discussed, and that she had access to the voting machines, and also that stuff is paid for it all the time without board's approval. I just think those need to be added to the minutes.
You got a motion and a second, and they just had some discussion.
Okay. So you're wanting to add, well,
Those things were said in the meeting. I thought it would be, I think it would be important for it to be important in the minutes.
can I get a motion? So we got a motion on the table with a second right now. I would need somebody to make a motion to accept your changes.
You got to vote that motion that you got on the table
Okay.
first, and if
All right, well,
it's passed, then you take a motion with the changes.
Thank you. All right, so we got a motion on the table, it's been first and seconded. I need a vote on it. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so that motion passed. Also, the June 5th public hearing. I entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion, pass the minutes as read.
I get a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And then we have the June 5th work session. Entertain a motion to accept those minutes as read.
I'll make a motion.
Get a second.
I second.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And then we have the June 12th called meeting. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, vote aye. Aye.
I abstain, I wasn't here.
All opposed? All right. I don't really have any updates, and not for now. And then we don't have anybody down on public comments, so we need to move right into our appointment section for some boards. The Board of Family and Children Services has sent over and said the term of Robbie Bird had expired this past week, and I believe they said they wanted to reappoint Mr. Byrd because they appreciated his work. I'll entertain a motion, being the DFAX board's in favor of that. Can I get a motion to reappoint Robbie Byrd back to the DFAX board?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
All in favor, vote aye.
Well,
Aye.
we need to do some discussion on it, I think, because we've been talking about making appointments to boards where each district would have some representation. And if we don't start replacing people, if we don't keep appointing the same people over and over, then my district is never gonna have any representation, and other districts aren't either.
Well, I thought we said that if they don't agree to come on the board, then we're
No.
gonna, I
No,
thought
we
that
just-
was a discussion.
We haven't, no, the discussion was that every district would have representation.
The discussion was if we was not gonna take someone off a board who was serving on the board and doing a good job on the board just because of their race, color, creed, or their district. Now, when we took time to replace those people at that board, then the board would take in consideration those factors. But as someone sitting up there, we're not gonna take somebody off a board who's doing a good job just because and as far as I know, I feel like we got equalization on all the boards. I don't really know one that's not. Do you have a member of your district on this board?
No, I don't.
How many members are they?
It's 5 members, and we had not, earlier this year and last year we talked about this, but the 2 times we've talked about it this year, it was that Jimmy was gonna come up with something. But my proposal was, and Philip agreed with me on this. He said he thought, I don't know what he thinks today, but at that time he said he thought every district needed to be represented.
And we said that, and we agree with that.
I still agree with that, but that
But-
was at a point, if you'll entertain, just humor me for a second. When we were discussing that, we were at a situation where we had boards where people didn't want to serve, and we were just trying to find people at that point. This has got the county director, Melissa Turner, sent a message to us, signed it, and said she would prefer Mr. Byrd go back on that board.
And that's what every board member is gonna say every time, and that means my district is not gonna have any representation. And if it's years ago, but these people decided that they was gonna have 5 districts, in my opinion, that meant we should have representation on every board for each district.
If they'd have meant that, I wish they'd have put it in the handbook, because
Okay,
that's up for
but,
us to discuss.
okay, it's okay.
So,
Is that board doing anything that you're aware of that they're doing wrong, or other than not having someone in your district? Is that the only thing?
It's somebody on the board that's not even qualified to be on the board. But I mean, if y'all gonna,
we should be talking about things like that, not replacing someone just because they don't live in a certain district. If there's somebody on that
But we
board who
shouldn't
don't,
have everybody on
but
that
if there's
board
somebody
over
on
there.
that board who don't supposed to be on that board, bring that to the table. Say, hey, we need to look at this person
Y'all
here.
don't want to hear what's right.
Well,
anyway,
I would love to hear that. I don't hear that.
No, we've talked about this before, but today is a different story. We got people up here. I mean, we ain't gonna never get every board, every district represented if we keep voting the same people in.
If there's someone over there who's not supposed to be on that board, let us know about them. Then we can take them out. But I don't think we should take someone off a board just because of the district they reside in.
If
Because
you
at the end of
wanna
the day, we're all Treutlen County. This is Treutlen County. It's the Treutlen County DFAX board.
If you want to do what's right in this county, you just do what's
Well,
right.
If
and
we're
have
doing something wrong,
representation
let's
from
fix
every
it. That's
board.
called doing something right.
That's exactly what y'all led me to believe that you was gonna do earlier this year.
No, I believe in doing stuff right, but we did say if they decide not to come on there, then we'll look at other districts. And I agree, we need representation from every district, but we did say that if they did not agree to come on, then we'll look at somebody in another district.
But the thing about that means we're not being represented. Each board is not being represented if you're gonna keep going there.
We have had some that decided not to come on.
And I'm
Not
still
since I've
asking.
been here.
I'm still asking to know about the person who's not supposed to be, who's not qualified to be on the board.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. We've had some discussion. I'm going to take it to a vote. All in favor of reappointing Robbie Byrd on the DFAX board, vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
I oppose.
All right, we have also got appointments on the Development Authority Board. Mr. Rodney Burchard has stated that they would like to reappoint the 2 members that's term had expired. That was Deborah Ferrari and Philip Jennings. So I'll entertain motions for either one of those people.
So made.
We need to do them
You got to do them separate, don't we?
Yes.
Or can we? Okay. So I'll entertain one on Deborah Ferrari.
So made.
Second.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. The second name there is, I'll entertain a motion, but I'll be abstaining on that one if it moves forward to a vote.
I make the motion.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Please note I did abstain on that. All right. At this point, we've got a quote for, this is at the library in the DA's office,
It's going to be the law library.
law library.
Yes, sir.
So they're going to have to get a crane to set this up there.
Yep, that's why he wants to do both of them at the same time. So just to order that crane one time, rent that crane one time.
Makes sense.
What is this now?
The unit for the law library and the DA's office over at the courthouse, both of them have went out. They're 23 years old. So he's replaced all the other units on top of the building. This will be the last two that needs to be replaced.
Can this come out of any of the funds?
The 2019 SPLOS.
Can't come out of 2019 SPLOS? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the quote from Best Home Maintenance on the 2 air conditioner change-out units with crane truck and everything else. That total amount for both units and the crane rental and everything was $12,904.
This Best Home Solution, that is who we have our maintenance
Yes, sir.
contract with, right?
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
And can you also make the motions how you want to pay for it?
Out of SPLOS, 2019 SPLOS.
All right, I got a motion from Commissioner Powell to pay for it out of the 2019 SPLOS. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, vote aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, moving into our manager's updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to inform the board that where Navison resides, that building is a county building, and that unit also is on its last leg. So at some point in time, they're going to have to do something about that unit as well.
What has Best looked at it already?
Yes, sir.
What are they?
It's an older unit, and from my understanding, it's not an electric unit. I think it's like a propane type
Some of them
unit,
run off natural gas.
natural gas. So he wants to switch it over to electric, but he hasn't got me a quote on it as of yet.
I'd just get I'd get a quote, and then we can have a discussion at it maybe at the August meeting.
Okay. Cloud Permit, they actually, about 2 months ago, I actually came to the board. They requested, they a company that does building permits. They did a bid for the county for $24,000. I was just it was tabled back then. I just want to bring it back to the commissioners and see what y'all wanted to do going forward. Do y'all want to just go ahead and contact them and say you're not interested? They're emailing just about every other day trying to find an answer.
They just do, like, for people that coming into the county looking for business permits and stuff like that.
Right.
We're not quite ready for that,
No.
I don't think.
No.
So I think it just, in my opinion, I think we just table it here and you can let them know that, right now we're just not ready for that.
Okay.
We don't require our services.
iWork is the company that does the roads, bridges. They quoted us, gave us a quote of $4,000, I'm sorry, for the first year, and then an additional $2,500 for year 2 for $6,500. Basically what they do is any equipment that goes out, we discussed this last meeting from Mr. Terry, the road guys here, real time. They can actually see. You can actually see on your phone where they're located, what equipment is out, how many hours is on it, the fuel usage, et cetera, et cetera. So, talked to Mr. Terry. He said that he was not interested in it, but I wanted to bring it back before the board.
Do we have any kind of tracking software on any of our assets at all? Like county vehicles, equipment, anything?
No,
Why did Mr. Terry say he wasn't interested?
because he knows. Yeah, he knows where they are at all times. But it's something that company said it's something that the board can keep track of, as well as Mr. Terry. And they can track all county vehicles.
Probably give you heartburn if you really done it.
What did they quote it on, just on the road department?
Just on the road department.
Send me some information on it. I'd like to read about it, and I don't know if anybody else on the board would like to read about it or something. I think it's something we ought to at least explore.
Okay.
I don't know that it may be cost prohibitive for us right now, but sounds like we got assets all over the place going up and down the road, so might be a good way to keep up with stuff.
You can put an Apple AirTag on it very cheaply.
All right.
Those don't work out. I tried those.
All right, you got courthouse restoration.
Let me give you the quote from Ray Peoples Roof, and went over and looked at the Treutlen County Health Department. That roof is completely gone. It needs repair. He quoted us $26,240 to replace that roof.
That's at the health department?
At the health department. But those guys that we had come in last month, Precision Contracted, that was going to look at our insurance. We're still trying to get that language from ACCG to send to them and see if maybe we can get a better price through going through them. So
I just sent another email to them this morning, but I mean, I've given the guy I've given him everything that we have, but I think he's wanting a little more detail, so I requested that this morning.
Okay.
do the board want to table this until next month? Maybe I can have an answer.
Are we having leaks right now? Or?
Not bad. Not like it was at the annex.
Now you got, so that's, is there another roof we're looking at too?
No, just that Precision Contractor that came in and said they can look at our insurance, and depending on how our language is as far as our insurance is concerned, maybe they can go that route.
Okay. Table it. Let's see if they can get maybe get a price from them as well, and see if they're just going to keep moving along and can't get to the bottom of it, and we'll have to move on at some point and
I
get
say
it replaced.
Those people are probably storm hunters. They probably, when they get documented through EMA and stuff, where you have certain like hail damage and stuff in counties, and they go in there and fish for counties like us to say, hey, y'all had this incident at such and such in time, and y'all can apply this on your insurance, and you probably get a roof with a discounted price, because roofs have lives just like everything else, and they prorate it through the insurance companies. But I'm assuming that's probably what they're doing.
That's it.
Were you, I would say table it, but maybe go ahead and get one more and get another quote, just to, that way we got at least a couple.
Okay.
Then in August we can, at least we'll have a couple different options if Precision doesn't come along.
Okay. Josh Burnett, he's with Savannah Surface Cleaning. They're actually doing the cupola over at the courthouse in Evans County. I think he actually reached out to you, Mr. Chairman, and you referred him to contact me. He came over here and gave us a quote on what it would be to replace and paint the cupola over at the courthouse. That's what that quote is in your package, of $28,528.32.
Are we at a point where it's necessary or needed?
I'd say so. Unless you like having a rusty top.
But also, Ziegler Paint Company out of Dublin, they're the last ones to paint the cupola over at the courthouse. They gave us a quote years ago. Do you want me to reach out to them and see if they can give us a better quote than what we have here?
Yeah, we need at least a couple quotes. Yeah.
Okay.
And anybody else, if you want to get more than one and get a couple more, that'd be great too.
Does the clock work?
Clock works.
I couldn't.
Yes, clock works. All right.
That's cool.
HB 189 is the trope weight limits bill that came out. The only district that it'll apply to is District 2, and the roads there is going to be Penland Creek and Crooked Run, Penland Creek and Boiling Springs, and then Reedy Creek and Boiling Springs. So to be in compliance, we have to have our signs posted by September 2nd of this year. I've already contacted DOT, spoke with our area supervisor there. You have to have 2 signs per road, so 6 signs total. I went ahead and ordered those signs, so I get Mr. Terry to put them up, and it costs $262.14 for the 6 signs. So I get Mr. Terry to put them up, so we'll be in compliance by that date.
Okay.
That's on the roads that it'll affect.
Is that going on the bridges or the
On the
whole
bridges.
road, just where these trucks are crossing on the new thing?
That's right.
Quick to get in compliance with, wasn't it?
Took a while.
Yeah, didn't that just pass?
Just passed, and you, like I said, they said you got to be in compliance by September 2nd. So.
Okay. All right.
Last 2 things I have is I'm asking calls from people that live out on Cedar Grove Road, at County Line Road. Montgomery County was supposed to, it was a verbal agreement between Treutlen County and Montgomery County, between their road supervisors, for Montgomery County to keep that road straight. But they had not straightened it in, it had been a while. So I rode out and looked at the road, it was in bad shape. Mr. Terry's going to take that road back over. I contacted the county manager over in Montgomery, told them that we'll take care of Treutlen County roads. They can continue to take care of Montgomery County roads. So he got it in compliance, that road out there.
Okay.
It was a pipe that washed out on Cedar Grove Road. Mr. Terry had went out there, replaced that pipe, so everything should be good to go there as well.
Give me, speaking of pipes and washouts and all that, give me an update out there at the Oriental Road and 15.
No more issues.
So
They dug it out.
I got a call 2 days ago or 3 days ago about it.
it was flooded out a week ago. Had Mr. Terry go out there. He went and looked at it. Water was across the road again. I contacted the Rickses. They had someone to go out there, Mr. Watkins. From my understanding, the father goes out there. He doesn't have anything to do with that pond anymore. But he goes out there and does things like stop it up. From my understanding, at some point in time, I think somebody's going to have to replace that road because it's cracking pretty good now from all the water damage. So I would keep the board posted on that.
You know, I've lived on that road my whole life. There are times when it does get water on it. Always has been. But it never got to the point where it was when it was about that deep. I mean, so.
Well, I had somebody that lives on that road call me, and I think he's already talked to you, Rodney. I think he talked to you too, Roger. Yeah, he called me, and he's tired of it flooding out. It's flooded out again. So at some point, we've got to put something in some teeth back to the property owner if they're not going to fix it correctly.
Well,
Because
I rode out that way yesterday, going up to the farmhouse, and it looks like they're on that dam on that little dead end side road. Looked like they dug it completely out.
That's what I'm saying. They did that last time.
but they're saying that her dad's coming up there
Right.
and filling it partially back in or something. I don't
Right.
know how he's
Do
doing
what?
that or what he's or why, but
The county attorney needs to write him a cease and desist letter, telling him if you don't,
Cease and desist letter.
yeah, whatever you call it, and tell him if you don't stop messing our road up, he's gonna be liable for damages to our road, and I think you'll see they stop that.
Give me his name and number and the address. I'll be glad to. I mean, who is it? What are their names?
His name is Mr. Riggs,
Ronnie.
Ronnie Riggs.
Oh, he's.
Yep. So
I'll make no comment. He's an interesting person. I'll just put it that way.
just
So I would believe that he could do such things.
all right. Is that the last thing? Or you
That's
got
it.
All right.
The last thing, Council for Constitutional Officers, that was tabled as well. I don't know if the board wants to move forward with that or any more discussion.
I haven't really thought about it anymore.
Council for the Constitutional Officers. brought up at the last meeting.
It was some discussion about if the bank could do something. Did y'all ever find out with the bank if they could do cards or?
They can do whatever we want to do, but I can tell you that I'm just saying the ladies over there have no desire to do it.
Well, they don't want to. They want you to continue to do their job for
So
them.
when he gets fired on
Let's,
he does whatever he wants to do. They used to do whatever they wanted to do.
I mean,
That's client access.
it is what it
They're
is.
talking about.
All right, we'll move into the financial report portion here. Get over to it.
So we decided to keep that like it was. Let Angie in this office keep booking rooms for the
I
Constitution
just said
office.
let's table it. Come back to it. So our regular general fund account's got $694,000 in it. Rescue fund's got $1.2 million. CD's got $384,000. LMIG's at $620,000. 2019 SPLOST is at $432,000. Crime Victims Assistance Funds at $290,000. Drug abuse treatment is at $32,000. Drug seizures at $40,000. The E911 is at $180,000. Jail reserves at $125,000. They got $1,300 in the Treutlen Wheeler landfill and $936,000 in SPLOST. Any questions on that? All right. We've got some issues we've got to go into executive session over. So I'll entertain a motion to take us into executive session.
I made a motion.
Get a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you all for being here today. This concludes the public portion of the meeting.
I wasn't here.
We just need to let the record reflect that the decision on the interim appointment and leaving the center open while we're taking applications was not unanimous. It was opposed by Commissioner Hooks. Will you let the record reflect that in the minutes? Is that worded correctly? Okay.
Let her roll.
All right. We're going to add something in here real quick. I'm going to let the county attorney speak on the emails that we've seen on the open records request.
So this came up in a time that was not available to get on the agenda. So I, along with other folks, I don't know, I did not look at the distro line, received an email from a gentleman by the name of Will Bishop from, Sarah Brewerton Palmer. I guess Will Bishop is his or her assistant, of Kaplan Cobb. I assume that they're a law firm. I don't know.
And when was it sent?
The 30th.
At what time? Which was Friday?
Yeah,
Friday
I didn't get it until Friday afternoon.
About 5:30 when it was sent.
It was late. I know it didn't have time to go on the thing.
So
Biggest thing I'm concerned about is some of the details that was included in there and needing to get them a response by the July, I think it was July 10th.
Here's, in a nutshell, we all know that there has been a constant flurry of requests concerning election issues since the last presidential election. All right, those matters, they come in all the time asking for material and issues that are there. You'll be shocked at how much they are. Recently, and we all know because it was vetted out and fleshed out at the last county meeting, there has been controversy that has been raised about this Misty Hampton, who I wouldn't know if she walked in the door, who conducted our probate judge's election. Miss Hampton is apparently at the center of a lot of controversy, not the center, but she is on the fringe of controversy, for lack of a better term, concerning the Trump-Biden camp war that's never going to end, apparently. And that has raised renewed requests from people all over about anything to do with her. We have provided everybody that we can keep up with at this point with everything to do with Miss Hampton. Now, I want to make sure y'all understand the Georgia Open Records Act does not require the county to manufacture anything or to come up with a report or come up with an answer. It's if you have information, that you give it over. So what I have done in order to try, because as Angie would tell you, it is very difficult to, when you have 5 different requests coming in from 5 different people, and then you send this one that, and immediately when you send it to them, they send back another request. So what I've asked TJ to do is that we basically have compiled a Misty Hampton PDF that has every document that the county has that has her name attached to it, period. Is that right?
That's correct.
And we have that. So anybody that makes a request that has to do with Misty Hampton, that is the document, that's the package that we're going to send to them that says this is what we got, we don't have any more. That is not going to satisfy everyone. As I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read you the first letter of this. It says, all right, on March 22nd, this group submitted a records request to Angie Hooks, asking for a copy of the Treutlen County audit report for the fiscal year that included payments made June 21st. The following day, Ms. Hooks provided the county's financial report. Check. In reviewing the report, FSFP noticed that it did not include certain payments the county had made to Misty Hampton, and those funds appeared to be unaccounted for. Over the next few months, FSFP followed up with Ms. Hooks several times, now listen to this phrase, to try and understand why these payments were not included in the annual report. That is not an open records request. That is not an obligation that we have to anybody. They are saying, oh, well, your report's not good enough.
Can I reiterate on that?
Okay.
While we're,
Yes.
Can I say that? So, and also just so that it's clear in our audit does not have line item per vendor. It doesn't do that. That amount or whatever payment would be made would be under the budget part of the probate courts under election expense. And our audit is approved every year by the Georgia audit. You know, it's approved. Everything is done exactly the way it's supposed to be done. So, but in order to make them happy, I also printed off a report that shows every payment that was made to Misty Hampton, and we included invoices. So that's
Okay.
those invoices are paid invoices.
In other
so we
words-
gave them everything that they asked for.
And I want to continue on this. If over the next few months she followed up with Ms. Hooks several times to try and understand why these payments were not included. That's not her job to explain to someone from outside why the county does this, why the county does that. And it's not part of the Georgia Open Records request provisions. FSFP also provided copies of invoices reflecting the unaccounted for payments to Ms. Hampton. Well, that wasn't even what they asked for in the beginning. All right. On May 11th, Ms. Hooks sought clarification from FSFP about its concerns over the report. FSFP explained that the invoices appeared to be missing from the report, as well as the funds used to pay them appeared to be missing from the report. FSFP asked whether Ms. Hooks could advise, you get what I'm saying, they want her to advise them, not provide them a document that we have, on which funds were used to pay the invoices and where the transactions fit into the county's budget and audit. That is not within the Open Records Act. Within minutes, Mr. Garner copied FSFP on an email to Ms. Hooks and TJ Hudson stating, do not send these people another email or document or speak to them without my clearance. And I sent that because they're asking for the county to do things that we're not obligated to do. Straight up, after I had a conversation where it was very clear that this is for a political agenda, not for any open records request. Because I was told, oh, there are investigations going on. And apparently I keep hearing about these investigations. I have no qualm if the GBI, the DOJ, the FBI, the Secretary of State, every acronym that can happen, let them come and investigate whatever they want. I have not heard that there's anything to hide. That is not the issue here. The issue is we as a county do not have to explain to anyone why you take actions. That is within the governmental discretionary map, okay? The open records request is not meant to mean that people can sit there and say, explain to me why you did this, explain to me why you did that. It's, please show me the information. So they followed up with more things they requested. Well, they don't exist. That's the whole point. They think things exist that I've been told don't exist, and so that is what has made them unhappy. You're not giving us what we've asked for. Well, it doesn't exist. We've given you everything we've got. The thing that after the lady from New York, after we sent the package back, she said, well, now I want emails. I asked TJ to go back and double check. Are there any emails? Because Angie checked, correct?
And I have no emails.
And I asked
I've never
TJ
had
to
an
go
email
back
from this lady.
after this letter came in and double check with Tiffany that there weren't some emails from her, because TJ knew that there weren't any from him, right?
Correct.
And Tiffany has said she has looked.
And she doesn't have any emails.
Okay, and when you say emails, it's a specific thing saying discussing Misty Hampton. So you type, I assume you type it in there, there's nothing. And I'm going to respond today, after now I've gotten that confirmed, we don't have your emails. Now I can tell you that's not going to satisfy these folks. They're going to keep asking for everything. That's why I said we're going to have a Misty Hampton package.
Just to ask you one question, Council. But what we also want to include in that, Jackie, because she was the interim, she had been appointed interim person at that time to make sure that she had, because she was actually the one running the election basically at the time by position, correct?
I would need to defer to TJ.
She was sitting in there as the interim probate court judge, but because she had opposition, she couldn't run the election. That's why we had.
So there had to be, but there had to be some talk between either a board election or somebody back and forth with Misty for her to come run the election for that position, correct?
Yes.
So it wouldn't be from Tiffany because she wasn't elected yet. So it would be from, if not Jackie because she was running, it would go back to whoever the chair lady is of our board of. So we need to make sure I'm just saying to be
you need
completely.
To check with Jackie.
Not Jackie, but the
Miss Inez Miller.
Yes.
Check with her.
Include that in what you bring forth.
But you bring out a very good point. There's no question that there were communications, but the question is what is in writing to be disclosed. And, you can't disclose a phone call. And so I've been told, double check with Miss Inez, Lance brought up a good point, or anybody else over there, I don't know. But other than that, unless there's something that comes out of that, we've sent them everything we have. We've sent that to numbers of people.
A comment from me, as long as I've seen this thing kind of rock on over the last couple of months now, we need to make sure, and I think we need to have a discussion as a board or whatever, maybe at the next meeting. I know you've discussed some different things, but when we get open records requests, we need to get everything that is required of us together to them as quickly as possible. And if we don't have it, we at least need to send a response back within that allotted 3 days and say, look, we're going to work on this. We've got some things, and communicate. Because everything may be just as perfect as you just described right there, but it gives appearances that maybe things aren't just right if people are sending emails and emails and emails without getting a response.
No
Sometimes,
matter what it is, I respond immediately, and then I forward to
Right.
Jimmy.
And that,
always.
this is the one that seemed to have festered. And I know there may or may not be some agendas out there, or whatever they may be. However, the bottom line is, if we've fulfilled our requirement, they should still at least get an email back to say we have fulfilled our requirement. These are all the information we have. We consider it closed. If you have a new open records request, we will be, happy to entertain that in the future. But we've got to. If you let things fester, they just grow into what this thing has kind of turned into, where it looks like there's something that's not actually happening. I mean,
And you're right, and that I need to do. But I will say this: when you send a response and then you get another response, and then it's like, bam, it is very difficult to track exactly which one you're looking at. And
if we're confused, we just ask, is this a new request? Is this a new open records request? Needs to be asked then.
Well, fine. I'm letting you know it is not as simple as it sounds. There's a lady named Ann, what's her name, that sent 4 different requests in how many days? 1? And it's boom, you send it, boom, you send it, boom, you send it. And you said, and they ask for this, that they ask for, things that we may not have. It is incessant. And it is difficult to keep up with, but you are correct. We don't want anybody to think we are holding anything back. That's why I wanted us to have one flat response that has every document, everything that we have concerning this tangible. Now, if somebody wants to call and interview somebody, that's up to the person they're wanting to talk to about what was said. I am asking this. The Secretary of State, is there an ongoing inquiry by them into Miss Hampton? Or are they done?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I think they're done, but I don't know. for
Okay.
sure.
All right.
Is anybody else investigating? Have y'all heard from anybody else?
Only thing we got was from Investigator Blanchard. He came over here and interviewed everyone.
Was he
gave
with
his-
the Secretary of State or GDI?
Secretary of State's office. He gave his opinion, and I think he actually reached out to you as well, Jim.
The Miss Hampton as a target is and caught up in this thing that bleeds over national because of something that happened allegedly. I don't know anything about it in Coffee County, and that nobody has made any allegations yet that anything inappropriately was done here, have they?
No.
It's just they want to know anything that has to do with her. And that is, and then it goes into the next thing, why did you engage her? And that was the basis of what y'all talked about at the last meeting.
Yeah. I remember we went in pretty deep. All right. So,
Yes.
So you're going to get a response out
Right.
prior,
And I'll copy
prior to
all the commissioners.
I was fixing
yes.
to say, please include all of us so we can see that,
Right.
because I'm sure they'll, like you said, there may be additional responses required and there may be additional stuff, but let's at least get that response back to them, explain everything, and then whatever they come back with next, let's deal with it then. Okay. All right. I'm taking motions for adjournment.
Make a motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you all. for
Well,
being
was
here.
that motion to come out? Did we ever make a adjournment? We didn't make a motion to come out of executive session?
Yeah, we did.
We did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay.